guys, Matty here, mixandmastermysong.com. This is going to be part 3 of our Better Mixes series on vocal delays. So now we're going to talk about short delays, and some of this stuff can be applied to other things like acoustic guitars. I use this a lot with these kind of delays, but we'll use them on vocals for now just to keep kind of the same path that we've been on. But this is really cool for adding some thickness or depth to a vocal. This isn't so much like an effect that you hear, but more something you feel, or you do hear it, but it's more of a background thing. It's not like a big delay that you hear going on after the vocal or something like that. So anyway, let's hop in. I'll show you 3 different kind of techniques you can use that might help you out getting, just some different sounds with your vocal. So the first one's called some people call it the house effect. I like to call it the stereo delay, because what we're going to do is make the vocal sound stereo. So to do that, excuse me, we're going to use our Echo Boy again. For all of these, or just about all of these, we're going to switch over to time instead of note. We've been working in note for a while. Now we're going to time. And what we're going to do is we're going to set a real short time, about 7 milliseconds, and generally the rule of thumb for this is anywhere between 7 and 20 milliseconds. So we'll play with it once we get it. But what we want to do is make a stereo delay on this thing. So we're going to take our main vocal, which is right here. Let me just play it so you can hear it.
I was smoking big joints when you get them off me. I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run.
Okay, so we're going to take this vocal, right? And we're going to pan it hard left. So now,
get them off me, I'm flying to...
Because you can hear our vocals only coming out the left speaker. Then we're going to turn on our delay. Now we're going to do something a little different, and each DAW is a little different with this, so just follow me through on this. We're going to turn this up so it is at 0. So it's so it's just going straight to the delay at the same level as the vocal. And we're going to switch this to pre-post fader. For your send, and each DAW should be able to do this. And what this does is, if I turn this down or up, this fader, our main fader down or up, the amount of level going to the delay is going to stay the same. So watch, I'll turn this fader up and down, and you'll see. Well,
get them off me and fly. So
you can hear it's a lot louder now. Whoops. Let me turn this delay on and crank it so we can hear you can hear it.
Get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot.
Okay, so you hear that delay pretty strong right now. Let's turn this down a little bit. And then now if I turn this fader down.
Get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot.
We're just hearing the delay now. So at any rate, that helps us if we change our level, because we're going to have 2 independent levels. So if we change our level here, it's not going to change on our delay. Okay, so hopefully that's straightforward enough. So we got the main vocal pan to the left. Now we're going to take our echo and pan it all the way to the right. So now what's happening is we're only going to hear the main vocal on the left, and we're only going to hear the return of the delay in the right. So now let's turn this and make it for about 7 milliseconds. 8 milliseconds is fine. And let's take a listen.
Get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once. Get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the...
So now it feels like it's almost stereo, right? And like I said, we can change up the delay a bit. Let's keep this on all the time, make our life easier, and add a little bit more here. See what this sounds like.
Get them off me, I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live.
So when you get past 20 too much, it can start heading into the flanging chorus area, which is another effect you can try. We won't go over that today, but that's something else that's done with delays. But this is a cool effect. Now, just FYI, I don't use this that much on vocals. Just doesn't really, it sounds a little funky to me, and I usually like to use it on guitars and stuff like that. But it's a cool effect, and it sometimes could work. So let's go to the next one. The next one is like what we could call almost like a reverb or a room delay, I guess. And that is kind of making the delay sound like a reverb. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, sometimes when you have too much reverb, it can actually cloud a mix. A lot of people who are just starting mixing be like, turn up the reverb to make the vocals sound better. And all that does is make it, reverb tends to make things sound farther back. So it makes the vocal sound further back and it clouds up the mix. So sometimes you don't want to use reverb all the time. And to just get some room tone or a room sound, you can use delay. So we're going to put this back to so it's in the center, bring our vocal back to the center, and we're turning off the pre-post on our echo. Now, this we're going to use somewhere between like 35 to 80 as a delay time for milliseconds. And now take a listen, and you can hear it almost sounds like a reverb. And it sounds a little weird because we don't have the music. We're just listening to the vocal. But once you blend it in with the music, it can help give it some width and depth that makes the vocal stand out, but doesn't sound like it's got a ton of reverb on it or something like that.
I was smoking big joints when you called me. Got me stressed out. Get them off me. I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run.
So I don't know if you noticed or you can see I turned it on and off. I'm going to do that again. Let's turn it up a little bit just so you can really hear it.
Get them off me. I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once.
So you hear that. It really brings some depth and width and energy to that vocal. Now let's unsolo it with the music so you can hear that.
Get them off me. I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once.
So now you can barely hear it there. I mean, you could kind of hear it. And now I'm going to turn it on and off. And you can hear the difference it makes when it's in the mix.
Get them off me. I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once.
So hopefully you can hear that on your speakers at home and stuff. It's pretty subtle, but it definitely makes a difference. So cool. So lastly, we're going to do the slap back delay. And that is a delay you really do hear. I don't use this on hip hop stuff that often, or sometimes pop stuff I do it. A lot of times more on rock stuff, you'll hear this like big slap delay sound. So this is going to be more in the 80 milliseconds area. Although with slap delays, I tend to switch back to note and go between 30 seconds and 64ths. So let's do the 30 seconds so you can hear that.
Get them off me. I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once. Smoking big. Get them off me. I'm flying to the next spot. I'm always on the run. Some people act like you live more than once. Smoking big.
So it's cool. It gives it a different kind of effect, and that can work. That to me is sometimes used more as a real effect, something you really kind of hear when you're using that technique. So that should be good for the short delays. And like I said, you can apply a lot of these to instruments. This is really great for synths and stuff like that. Sometimes drums, snare drum. If you want a thicker snare drum, you can use the short delay or room verb delay one. Which will kind of thicken the snare up, but it might not be so reverby and clutter things. So delays are really great for doing all kinds of things like that. So that's that for now. Next video is going to be really, really cool. We're going to go into some advanced kind of delay techniques, some things I experiment a lot with in mixes, and it'll be really cool. A lot of creative stuff you can do with delays. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.